Good evening, Hyper RPG Thumpers, and welcome back to episode 4 of He Left It Dead, where your GM, me, Joe Starr, just realized that he should have his character sheets out for the show, for the game that he's about to run. Welcome back to the show. I still don't know what voice I'm supposed to use to intro this show, because I don't have a spooky voice. I just end up sounding like Bill Hader.
Well, now I have to hear it.
Come on.
Yeah, exactly. It's a choice.
Welcome back to He Left It Dead, a Call of Cthulhu RPG. Yeah, it's not.
I'll lock that in.
Yeah, I think
that's it
good.
for the rest of the
That's
game.
it. Yeah.
This is the GM voice. Welcome back to the show. This is chapter 5 of our 4-part Call of Cthulhu series. Thank you again.
We did a good
RPG.
job with those 4 parts.
Thank you guys for giving us a little bit of overflow to wrap the story up well. Matt, Kim, Emma, Bert, Zach, thank you guys so much for being here. This is a game based on the Call of Cthulhu RPG system. We are leaning really heavily on the insanity and sanity mechanics of this game. My favorite part about this game is just breaking our players and characters down until they're a fine psychotic dust that's no longer a person. You guys can assist in that in a lot of ways. I'm going to read through them right now.
It's like a really meta thing about streaming in general.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a commentary, on what it is.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Ultimately, the Grey King is Twitch. That's going to be the ultimate twist at the end of this. For $25 with hashtag reroll, you guys can add a reroll to their pool. Dice rolls are really hard to roll successfully in this game. Those have come in handy quite a few times. I don't think you guys would have left Lord Hayes' house at the beginning of this campaign.
I did not change my die, so... you
still got your horribly cursed dice. Good.
It's not the die, it's the person.
For $30 and the use of the hashtag sanity, you can give players back sanity points. They'll sort of have a happy memory that sort of reinvigorates their saneness and really get themselves back on track. They'll get 1d4 plus 1 of sanity back. That's no fun. You can tip insanity for $35, hashtag insanity, to remove sanity from a player. You'll give them a traumatic flashback, dipping them deeper into the madness. 1d4 to be exact. Oh yeah, this totally brings up the Bill Hader voice in me. You can, for $50, you can tip hashtag phobia to give a character a phobia of your choice. These have been fun. Let's read through these real quick. Here's what everyone's having problems with.
We're gonna remind everybody.
Oh yeah.
I don't listen.
So these phobias, as they encounter them, will break their sanity down further and further and really test these players. This is a nice way to quickly reintroduce you to our characters, too. We have Zach playing Peter Strumpf, a strange werewolf man with a deep fear of birds and clothes.
Justifiable.
Elisa, our mysterious vampire hunter, who has since dropped her fake, delightful Scottish accent, and has a serious problem with silence and shadows. Apollina, who
Those are good fears. Sorry if I can interject. Those are good fears to have if you're a vampire.
Yeah,
hunter.
totally.
Yeah, that's
Totally.
some occupational.
I'm waiting
issues
here
there.
in the shadows quietly.
And this is bad. Always got to hum. That's why she's a bad vampire hunter. Apollina is
I'm a great vampire hunter.
the keeper of a high-class establishment in London called the Nightingale. She's sort of an unofficial spy master of the underground, and she just has a fear of children.
And she is definitely not surrounded by them right now.
Yes, so that's fun. And of course, Matthias, the professor who is Peter's father, is afraid of the dark.
Yes.
Blood,
Aww.
especially his own blood.
Yep.
Cats, and his son.
My own son. You terrify me.
And then we have Matt as poor James Cullen, who is just a schmo that's been thrown into this thing.
He had a good comeback last episode, though.
He did have a good comeback last episode. I need to fix that. He has fears of numerology, abandonment, his own sense of worthlessness, and pumpkin spice.
And
is that it?
I think and London fog, and half vampires, and paintings.
And London fog. Okay.
I don't know why I'm reminding everyone.
No.
I don't know why you're still here with all of those.
What's your current sanity?
Oh God, I'm at
we're starting the game.
28.
Yeah, you're bad. You're
28
bad.
sanity. 'Cause I got some rerolls.
That's
And
better
also,
than I
guys,
thought.
for hashtag crime for $75, you can create a crime that sort of ties into the narrative. And hashtag GM for $100, you can take over as the GM and take the game in some really interesting twists and turns, which you guys have already done. Those have been a lot of fun. In fact, it's your fault that we are starting where we are today. So let's jump into episode.
Before we
we've
do
got
that,
magic too.
I would just like to say that we are playing the Call of Cthulhu system. So if you have any questions about the system and how it works, please join our Discord. There's a room for the show in there, and you can talk to other people who are watching the show.
there is?
And
Oh,
they
there
can
is a
give
room
you.
for the show
There should be a room for every show.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you can talk to people watching and figure out how the rules of the game work if you're confused about anything. We want to make sure that you fully understand the system that's currently in play,
Dope.
and don't be afraid to ask questions.
Yeah, and after the show, I think there's Magic the Gathering after this show.
Yes, there is.
Who's
We're
playing?
doing
Who's up?
Ashlyn Rose is our very special guest.
yeah, and we're doing unstable, which is like trolley magic.
So much fun.
Sounds
It's
good.
So
It's pretty
much
great.
fun.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned for that. But
Nice.
for now, this is episode 5 of He Left It Dead. This episode is called Jabberwock.
No.
Mm.
Oh no.
I
That
like
brings back bad memories.
recoil when I hear that word.
Me too, for different reasons.
A dance troupe comes in,
They
don't
yep,
speak.
They don't
We
speak.
don't
They
see
just
their
have white
faces.
masks.
but they can move very well.
Yep. They have lots of light show effects.
Apollonia, just this wall of the smell of seawater hits you as these children have ringed around you and this mirror, circling you and chanting. You've managed to sort of stave off that initial phobia of the children being here.
Sarah?
Sarah, your Sarah, has peeled back to the back wall. She's not a part of this circle. She's sort of pressed up against this thing, sort of trying to make herself as scarce and as hidden as she can be, as the children around you continue to chant. He trilled a carol, fresh and free. He laughed aloud for very glee. Then came a breeze from off the sea. It passed across what your sin built. It fed him the dark depth of guilt. A twist of truth his world rebuilt. All to the feet of one pure lass, the maid enchanted by the glass. Through her smile, her heart, it passed. And you see, as Alice's head snaps up, and her mouth opens as wide as it possibly can, even stretching uncomfortably. You can see the pain in the girl's eyes as just this fog starts to billow out of her mouth. Will you roll against your sanity, please?
Oh.
Tell me what to roll. These two.
Yes.
All right.
Ooh,
is
that's
this?
really bad.
That's the 98.
Oh.
Okay. Will you roll 1d6 for me?
Okay. This one? Is this the one you use?
I haven't touched that one.
Okay.
Except you
He handed
just
it to
touched
me.
it.
Oh,
We'll see if
we'll
that'll
see.
Well-
We'll see. That.
Here we go.
That is, what the heck is that?
Is it a symbol?
I got 2017. I lose all.
Here, try this one instead. Because I don't know. The 1 and the 6 are.
Okay.
We'll say that's the 1. So we'll say that's a 6.
Okay, let's try the less confusing one.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What are you rolling?
I got. It doesn't matter.
Can you roll it over here?
1.
1? Okay. Remove 1 sanity.
Oh.
Oh,
I
You
don't get it.
I don't either.
shut your eyes as tightly as they can. This is just something that your brain, your mind can't process. As you feel this fog passing across you, you feel this coldness, you feel this dampness. Your eyes squeeze as tightly as they can go.
Just hold out my hand, Sarah. And then I attempt to walk forward.
You look a little ridiculous, walking around with your eyes closed like that.
Do I recognize that voice?
You do.
Who is it?
That is the prince's brother, Prince Ernest, one of your regular clients.
Why are you here?
We had an appointment. We shared dinner. Why are your eyes shut? Is the daylight bothering you?
No, love. It's bad port.
Bad. I can have someone run and get you something to settle your stomach.
Where are you right now?
In bed where you left me. Lady Wave, I don't understand the rules of this game.
You always did call me your English enigma.
Should I stand and close my eyes and wander about too?
No,
Are we
no,
supposed
no.
to find each other? I like this guy.
I open my eyes.
You are in a bedroom that you have been in many times. A guest room in one of the, not servants' quarters, but let's say separate guest buildings of Buckingham Palace.
Are there any children around?
Not as
better
far
not
as
be.
you can see, just
For a number of different reasons, there better not be.
just a very unclothed prince lying in a bed where you left him, who looks very confused by what you're doing.
Sorry, love. You've never been in this wing of Buckingham before.
Well, figure why stay in one wing? Let's keep things interesting.
How long have you been in England?
Just the night tonight. I apologize for the last minute appointment
No,
again. I
it's all right.
was made to understand that it was
Are you here for the
All
usual
right.
marks?
yes, plus whatever this is, I suppose. Does this cost extra?
No. I look around. Is there anything unusual about?
Go ahead and roll against your intelligence.
Intelligence. Where is? Oh, the very top.
Yes.
Okay.
You know, we have a little bit of time before the servants bring us down for breakfast.
30. So I pass quite well.
Okay. Ernest sort of sits up and he's putting on a robe and.
I look at him. Before he puts on a robe, I stop him.
Okay. How?
Is he reaching for a robe?
Yes.
I just grab his wrist.
Okay, so you've stepped forward and grabbed his
Grab
wrist.
his wrist. I look at his wrist.
As you step forward, your foot steps in a spot of water on the floor.
Okay. Of all the rooms you had to bring me to, this one is rather damp.
Drip. Drip.
I look up.
There's just a steady drip of water coming in from the ceiling, as if there was a leak in the roof.
Your Serene Highness. Why did you take me here?
You know why I took you here.
Enlighten me.
To fuck you and then send you on your way, Lady Wayworth.
Rude.
You normally buy me dinner first.
Normally.
And then I study him as well. I'm looking for the love marks I usually give him.
Gross.
The ones he asks for specifically.
Double gross.
Those German princes are good fun.
Clearly has
You
a fetish.
are looking for something very specific. We won't do like a weird roll. You know what you're looking for. You don't see those things. So, like I said, the whore of Buckingham Palace has time before the servants bring us breakfast.
But you didn't get what you paid for.
No, I haven't yet.
No.
He sort of steps forward and reaches out to cup your cheeks with his hands.
So what'll it be, the usual discretion? Something more daring?
Something more daring. He leans in to kiss you.
I'll let him.
I'm gonna throw up.
As he leans in, his mouth opens, and then opens a little more, and opens more.
Mummy style.
And that wave of fog hits you. James.
Oh, shit.
Fudge.
You are, I believe, just standing by a balcony.
Yes.
You've watched the carnage below.
I forgot that you jumped off the balcony
I
naked.
did. I jumped off of a balcony naked.
Completely
At least you're
naked.
naked. Yep.
Absolutely did.
And you didn't transform, did you? It was just a naked
Nope.
dude?
Nope.
I failed my
Yeah.
transform.
Alright.
Oh, great.
It was 30 rerolls. Thank you so much, chat. We appreciate it.
We absolutely appreciate it.
Was it rerolls?
As I'm standing up there, is there I'm looking for like if there's alcohol anywhere, like if there, like if there's like a plate of alcohol, like
Sure.
champagne or something.
Yeah, go ahead and
Honestly,
roll your
the sanest course of action he's taken for a while.
yeah.
It's
Roll
good.
roll your spot hidden.
That's the best roll I've
Oh,
ever gotten.
yeah.
That was a
Okay.
2 for something very minuscule.
Two for
Okay, great. There's
$5.
Why didn't you ask for looking for a cannon?
You see
There's good scotch.
a server has just dropped a bottle of what looks like scotch. There's some glasses. It's just been abandoned, but it's there. And Stephen crouches down next to it, picks up a glass, sort of inspects it, and offers it up to you.
You see, son, I told you Father will always protect you.
Oh my god.
And I just stand there drinking the scotch, kind of overlooking the balcony. I'll protect us.
As all this hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
Okay. As you take a sip, you realize your lips are almost chapped a little with the taste of salt. Like you've been swimming in the ocean. You know that sort of
Ooh,
feeling?
Yeah.
Ugh.
And as you sort of take a moment to examine the glass, you notice this fog sort of starting to fill
Oh dear.
the top floor of the hall around you.
Is this different from London fog?
I mean, it
That's
is
a good question.
just straight up.
Pretty.
It seems like fog. And you feel sort of a cold shudder take over. And as this is starting to sort of obscure around you, your son steps closer and sort of presses himself against you, looking around at it. Please roll against your sanity.
How many rerolls? Just ask
Is there
me.
any
Just go
rerolls?
yeah,
We have
out of
one.
curiosity.
For a friend.
I'm
We have
going
one
to
reroll.
use it.
Yeah,
I'm
use it.
going to use it. That's worse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Will you
How
please?
badly did you feel?
Like over like 40.
Will you please roll 1d6?
Oh no. Oh god.
High or low? All right. Fuck. 6. 6? Is that good?
God.
Is
It's
6
really good. It's really good. Don't worry, man.
It's great.
You, sir, set for the rest of this game.
Oh my god, can I use a pencil?
Yeah. There you go.
As this fog sort of starts to creep around, you sort of feel your son pushing up against you, and he looks up at you. And you feel your hand sort of start to shake as you reach out to sort of try to hold him. and you find that your legs are no longer supporting you as you sort of just
No.
as you collapse onto the ground as sobs just start to rack through your body.
Steven. I can't do this, Steven.
Your son
I can't do this, Steven.
takes his hands and puts them over the hand that's holding the rod and just says, "Yes, you can, Father. We just have to kill the monsters. We just have to kill the monsters. You know where they are.
I can't see them in this fog. I can't. It's too steep.
You know where they are, Father. You can do it.
We can do it.
We can do it together. We just have to kill the monsters.
We can kill them. We can stop this. We can kill them all. They can't stop us.
We can kill them all."
Oh my god.
They can't stop us. We can't.
And on cue, you see, almost on cue, from another wing
What is going on?
of the floor, you see this thing just that looks like a person, but just it's wrong, sort of crawling, dragging itself by its arms through this doorway, and it just looks at you and makes eye contact. Its eyes are human eyes, but they're just sort of yellow and off,
It grew
and
a
it
head
just
back.
hisses and growls and starts to crawl towards you. It looks like a person that's been just you're a cop. You instantly sort of recognize what would be a body found in a river or a lake or in the ocean.
Oh my god. Stay away
It's
from
crawling
us.
towards you. It's crawling faster. It's
Stay
moving
away from
quicker.
us.
It's
You're
moving
definitely
quicker.
the,
Do
you're definitely
something.
the most well-equipped person to fight this head-on. You should definitely do that.
Question.
Yeah.
That 6 I rolled, did that affect my sanity? Or did that affect any points?
Oh yeah. That was the amount of sanity that you lost.
I figured. I just wanted to double check.
Okay. Yeah, you are.
Shit.
If you guys love James, some sanity would be helpful.
Yeah, because otherwise.
Look,
he's gonna
sometimes
You
you
might have wanted to word that differently.
You have to. I'll phrase it the right way. Before you roll, sometimes you gotta build something back up before you have fun tearing it back down.
go. Gee.
That's right.
That's the right way.
That's the right way to word it. Thank you, veteran GMs.
I'm
Okay,
gonna do
what
something
would
for
you like to do?
I'm gonna do something for myself.
This thing is moving very quickly towards you. It's starting to crawl quicker and quicker.
I'm calling evens. Fuck. Okay.
What?
That's odd.
Are you? You're Harvey Dent?
Stay.
Yeah, he is going insane.
True.
You stay away from us! And I take the rod, and I just get it ready.
Okay.
Stay away from me and my son!
Okay. What are you doing? It's still coming at you. It's starting to growl, and that growl is growing into almost just a piercing just howl.
I grab the scotch bottle.
Okay.
And I toss it as like a warning. I try to hit it.
So you're trying to warn it, or you're trying
trying to hit
hurl a scotch bottle at
Yeah.
it? Okay, go ahead and roll for me, please.
I will kill you. I've killed many before. I'm not afraid to kill you to protect who I love.
I'm not afraid to kill
Throw
you.
is a skill, by the way.
Thank you. Yes, you're right. It is.
Yeah.
For the
it
first
is,
time in our
yeah.
game in the last episode,
It is.
go ahead and make a skill check with throw.
Are there any? No, you're throwing a bottle. Don't you
That's
dare
a
use
failure.
this.
That's a failure.
Okay.
But
Do you
not-
want
not
to push that?
Oh,
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
there you go.
I do.
Remember what happens when you fail a push.
I forgot.
Good
So-
things.
There's
Just roll it.
Sunshine and
So
bunnies.
so here's how we'll play this. You throw this scotch bottle. It sort of bounces harmlessly across next to this thing, and it kind of goes and just keeps coming. But there is still the tray. There's still glasses. I mean, literally, you have this giant frisbee of a
I'm
sterling
gonna
silver
throw
tray.
I'm gonna push and roll the tray.
Okay.
Dear God.
As you okay.
I have no faith in you. I barely missed.
Oh. Okay.
What a bummer.
So in that moment, It takes you to sort of scramble forward to grab this tray. Its hand snaps out and grabs you by the wrist, clawing down your arm. And in that moment, there's something about the clarity of the pain, and you have this memory that rights you and restores a little bit of sanity.
Holy shit.
Huh?
I think back. I think back to the war. That's where I'm from. Yes.
Did you say that's where I'm from?
That's where I'm from.
Where are you from?
The war.
I remember fighting it along my
Roger?
battalion. Yes, with Roger, and I remember that we were being pushed back down, and we thought all was lost. But he looked at me. He said, "No, today we fight. Today he lifted me up. He made me feel like I could do this. Today we cancel the apocalypse. Today we cancel the apocalypse." I'm like, "You're right, Roger. Today we do." And
Really
that moment
inappropriate since
inspires
it's the Opium
me.
Wars, but
And I roll a d6.
Roll 1d4.
D4.
Come on, you little greedy little bastard.
That's a 2. That's not.
Okay,
Thank
restore. You restore 2 points. Thank you so much. So in that moment, okay, so you sort of snap back. This thing is clawing at you. What do you do?
Oh, I'm still hold. That's my left hand,
Mhm.
and I still have the dagger in my
The rod?
The rod in my
Sure.
right. I want to like try and get it right in the head. Just
Okay, go ahead and roll your fight brawl.
okay. Let's try this die. Oh my god! Any rerolls?
So look, that moment of you had that moment of clarity. You gave that amazing speech, so I'm going to give you a bonus on this. Go ahead and roll again and give me the best
Joe.
of the two.
If I die, it's okay, because I'm trying really hard to not die. But it's the die. It wants me to die.
I have too much fun shit to put
That's
you
a-
through to let you die right
So,
now.
I'm so nervous right now. I'm afraid to roll this. Here we go.
You hit it?
That's a success.
Woo!
Holy shit.
What is that?
That's a 27.
Oh, all right.
Oh my god.
Okay, so this thing just sort of growls up at you and opens its mouth and snarls, and you just jab this rod through its throat, and you go for it.
You stay away from
You're
us.
protecting your son. You're protecting your son. You're just jabbing this thing into this creature's neck. There's this like black liquid sort of spurting, and just you're getting full-on blood spray. Your son is sort of standing next to you and watching approvingly. No blood is hitting him.
Just, all of you, just die already.
And in that moment, how do I play this? Analar, well done. You all just got an insanity from someone. I'm trying to figure out the best way to play it.
group psychosis.
I'm gonna bank these for a second. Eliza, we find you, I believe.
It wasn't just one for all of us. It was also one for him to give away to someone else for
Yes.
free
Yep.
at his discretion.
Yep.
Great, great,
Yep.
great, great, great.
Yeah.
Great.
Oh my god.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
You are standing over
At your screw.
A very dead body.
a very, very dead body.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And you've kind of snapped out of this
Mm-hmm.
a little bit. You had sort of started to come to your senses when you hear a woman scream.
Where is it coming from?
It's coming from very near you, maybe even just around the corner. You're sort of in that open hall
Okay.
area
All right.
of the second floor. You look for this scream, and as you're sort of looking around, you are also noticing this fog starting to fill the building. It's sort of moving very quickly. You feel this dampness against your skin. Your clothes are almost sticking to your skin a little bit. You also start to realize you're not feeling quite as strong
Oh
as
no.
you should be.
Daylight.
The hours have kind of caught up with you a little bit, but you do hear this scream, and as you're sort of starting to focus on it, you also hear James yelling.
Okay.
You can find this pretty easily.
Right.
Get away from us! Get away from me and my son!
Is he talking to the creature that he's fighting, or is he talking to me?
The
James.
The creature.
He's a bit of a distance away, but
Okay. So, yeah, okay. Great. I run towards him to try to help him.
okay. You sort of run. You're ready to come in as the cavalry, and
Yes.
You find James mounted on top of what looks to be a woman, and he's just stabbing this
Oh my
rod.
god!
I'll kill all of you. I will
I'm
kill
going
you.
to
I will kill all of you.
I'm gonna grab him and throw him off of her.
Okay.
Oh,
That's-
sweet.
That's fucking mean, dude. I'll kill all of you. Get away from me. I'll kill you
I
next.
do want
I
you
will
to
kill
make a
you
check
next.
against your sanity.
Okay.
Yes,
This is a little fucked up.
This is a little fucked up. Great.
Oh man.
Oh my god.
That is a glaring
Oh my
success on the
God.
sanity end.
Okay, so just lose one.
Okay.
I don't know if we deserve to succeed this.
Oh my god.
Oh, boy, okay.
So you see this and you just sort of focus in and
Right.
you pull
I grab him and
James
right.
away. It's
I throw.
Well-
Is there like a wall or something nearby? Like, is this a hallway where there's a wall or something?
he's very near the balcony, the banister of the balcony. that
Fantastic. I'm gonna
overlooks.
shove him so he's like hanging over the balcony.
You are going to find that you're going to need to roll your very normal strength for this.
Oh no, it's daytime. I'm pretty weak.
Do
during
I get
the
a
day.
rebuttal? Like a
Yeah, go ahead and roll your strength.
Oh.
We'll do an opposing roll here.
Do we have any rerolls?
We sure don't.
That is a.
That's I got 100, so there's no way that he's gonna. Be
Okay.
better.
Actually, that's a 10.
that's a 10.
That's a 10.
Oh.
Oh.
The
Well, then
highest
you-
you can technically with the dice is a 99.
Oh, okay.
Wouldn't that be a 10?
That is a 10.
That's also
0,
a
0,
10.
0, 0 is 100.
Are we sure?
I'm
Because a 0 is
positive.
a 0. We discussed this once
Yeah.
before. Where
I'm
it was
pretty
like
sure it's
1, 2,
100.
0, 0, 0, 0. If it's 3 zeros, that's 100. That's
Yeah.
the
It is
max
100?
you can
Yeah,
go.
it's a max. It's 100.
Because we've also been saying that a 0 and a.
I think we did that the first time and then we fixed it.
Then we fixed it.
That's a 4.
Yeah.
Because we were saying that 0, 0 is technically 4.
That's 0. Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's 4.
That's
Right.
a 4. But if
You
it's
can't-
0,
you
0,
can't
0, 0,
score
you can't
0?
score 0.
But a 0,
Okay.
but
That's
because
100.
because 0
Right.
is 10,
There
So
are.
you rolled a 10.
I rolled 100.
Okay.
I
Critical fail.
Oh, wow.
critical
Okay.
failure.
We're not,
Failed.
we're not using D100s either.
Yeah, 0
Yeah.
isn't 10.
Yeah.
10 would be 10, but that's
Yeah.
just because it's 3 zeros, it's 100.
Yeah.
Wow.
Welcome
Yep.
to Hyper RPG, where most of this cast just used weird imperial symbols.
Oh, the numerals!
It's,
the
it's
For
numerals!
definitely
like
100.
2 years.
It's definitely critical failure.
Okay, so there's critical failure. You grab onto James to sort of pull him, and there's just a shock of frustration as you are not just flinging him off like he's a fly. And this is a critical failure. Almost by instinct, James grabs your arm and just jabs an elbow into your neck. Go ahead and roll 1d4 for me of damage. And you stagger back
1.
against the balcony. Okay, go ahead and remove 1 damage. It sort of
Switch back to my
glances
daytime
against
sheet.
your, sort of glances into your collarbone.
James, get a hold of yourself. Don't you see what you're doing?
And as you sort of say, don't you see what you're doing, and sort of gesture, I'll leave it up to you whether you recognize this or not. You recognize the redheaded woman from the orgy room who invited you to join in.
Oh, no.
It had to be that one.
It did.
And James, as this is sort of pointed out to you, you see this woman lying there in sort of this haze, metaphorical haze. The real haze, still very
Still
much getting
coming
heavier,
in. Mhm.
passes, and you share a memory that strengthens your sanity.
Ooh.
Oh. I was walking along the ocean with my boy Steven. We were sharing stories, and he was telling me what he wanted to be when he grew up, and he said that he wanted to be just like me when he grew up, to serve his country and serve Her Majesty and fight for something greater. And I was so proud of him. I knew that he could be whatever he wanted to be.
In that moment, roll 1d4.
3?
Okay.
3 back.
3 back. And as you just sort of stare at what you've done, we cut to Matthias, who is
Jeez,
crying and beating a werewolf's
Oh no!
chest.
Well,
I won't let you do it again. Not again.
I don't. I still don't see him as a threat, so I'm trying not to
Okay.
attack.
Okay.
You're a monster.
Trying.
You're a monster. How could you do it? I won't let you get him.
Both of you hear a series of snarls
No, no.
Uh-oh.
around you.
I'll attack that.
You turn and you see 3 of the ghouls that you saw in the Oddfellow Lounge. One is standing, just sort of clenched and sort of ready to strike. 2 were on the ground and are now standing, pulling themselves back up to their feet.
Without hesitation, I immediately lash out at whatever ghoul is closest to me, and I'm gonna just basically try to rip it in half with my claws.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your power.
Let's see. That's a. We still hadn't assigned it officially, so very quickly I'm going to.
Oh,
I
sure.
thought we.
Not the power. We did
Oh,
strength
that's
and
right.
some of the others. So I'm going to. 3 plus. So that's going to be a 9 plus 6, 15 times 5.
That's
That's,
enough to.
45.
45.
Where's my cat?
No,
No,
it's not.
no,
It's
it's
75.
no.
75.
75.
Okay, 75.
So I
What
need to roll
Bert said
75.
is right,
Okay.
as always.
You need to
that's
roll
going-
under 75.
Yeah.
Oh man.
71.
Oh!
Ooh.
So you slash down into this creature's chest, and sort of from the shoulder down, it staggers backward and just screams at you. The other 2 sort of hesitate for a moment, and one sort of glances at you and glances at Matthias and just dives for Matthias.
Oh shit. I was gonna say I was gonna pull out my sword and stab things, but now I guess I'm going to try and dodge out of the way.
Well, you can, you've been watching these things. I mean,
No.
you had a moment before he sort of reached forward and stabbed you, sort of seen these things. Could have reached for your short sword by now. There's no real spot hidden roll or
Yeah.
psychology to read with weird monsters.
Okay. I pull it out
Okay.
and I look between the monster that I've just seen
Hmm.
and the monster that is my son.
Okay.
And I lunge forward.
Which one?
Okay. Go ahead and roll your.
Which one are you lunging forward at?
Go ahead and roll your
Oh, I
fighting.
do have to tell you. I do have to tell you. I'm gonna lunge for not you, the other one.
Yeah. Go ahead and use. Go ahead and use your fighting brawl for me. Do you have a? Do I remember you saying you have a sword specialty?
Oh my
I
God.
thought I did, but I didn't. So.
Okay. So fighting brawl.
I just want you to know, if you do stab me right now, it's going to be bad for you. Really bad.
Stabbing in
bad.
your general direction.
Like so bad.
Doesn't matter. I'm just gonna. You said brawl? Oh,
Yes.
that's down here.
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh, fighting brawl. Got it. Oh no. So I'm just kind of like my eyes are closed and I'm just swinging. I'm like almost going past them.
I feel like you're really setting yourself up for this didn't work.
Yeah, because it's a fail. That is a fail.
Okay. You sort of stagger forward and just stagger just past this thing as it hisses, and as you sort of turn, now you sort of are starting to feel this cold chill cross over you as this just dense,
Oh no.
sort of what feels like fog is continuing to fill the room. Peter, it's almost having a calming effect
I don't want that.
on you.
I don't want that.
Oh no!
Does the fact that I have a ghoul in my jaws help at all with keeping me enraged?
Surprisingly, also calming.
Roll your 1d10. Roll your 10.
Oh no.
Just 1d10?
Yeah.
Yep.
Roll the chart.
Yeah, roll
We'll,
the chart.
we'll let the chart decide.
Oh.
the chart on the side. Apparently, destroying this foul creature is quite relaxing. As I start to feel myself regain control, and as it's happening, and I start to transform back into my human form. No.
As you transform this creature, like, as your mouth gets back to normal, this thing just sort of falls out of your mouth, and it's on the ground, sort of twitching and wounded, and just making these almost like crying sounds. You look up, you see your father. He's been swinging a sword at another one, which is sort of backing away. And as you sort of take all of this in, as you sort of start to panic a little because you're human again, you start to see
completely naked,
eyes
exposed right now.
appearing. One pair
Matthews.
after another.
God.
in the
Matthews!
fog.
Matthews! Matthews, we have to run!
You know what to call me.
Father! Father! We have to run! I can't protect us. We have to run.
I grab my boy's hand, and I'm running towards the door.
Okay. And
But I'm really scared of you, so I'm not looking you in the eye or saying a word.
the two of you
Also, you're naked.
run through the door,
We made it out.
and we will cut back to Apollonia.
Am I still seeing what I'm seeing?
You are back in the mirrored room, in the refurbished room.
Okay.
The ring of children is gone. Alice is on the ground. Her limbs sort of splayed out backwards, her face racked in pain. This miasma is just continuing to pour out of her mouth. And you find your Sarah just squeezing your arms, just almost clawing your arm, to the fact that it almost alarms you as you cut back. The first thing you see is this little girl you were supposed to be finding, her fingernails digging in. And you find that it hurts. You do notice it hurts.
Mm-hmm. Then I take her hand and I leave.
Okay, you run.
Mm-hmm.
As you're running down the hall, we move back to Eliza
James, get
staring
over
down
yourself.
James.
I promised I'd protect us.
Who? Who are you trying to protect?
Me and my son.
Your son. What on earth are you talking about?
You can't stop me. You can't stop me.
I'm not
I'll do
trying
anything.
to stop you. I'm trying to save your life. We need to get out of here now.
And James, as this woman is sort of questioning the idea of your son being here, it almost comes off as mocking, as this, as this person sort of making you feel small and worthless.
Oh God.
I am.
And please share a memory that sparks a bout of madness.
Oh, boy.
Sweet baby James.
I remember being a child and a long time ago and wandering in the woods with my parents. They told me that they saw some people wounded on the road, and they told me to wait here as they went on ahead and aided the wounded people. As they were there, I was left alone, and I remember hearing people whispering my name. People whispering my name as if voices were making fun of me or taunting me, calling me names like you're a little baby. You'll be nothing. Pathetic.
Oh God.
It drove me mad, and my parents, they didn't believe me, they didn't see it. But I sure heard it.
And as your eyes snap back open and
Oh,
focus on
Jesus.
Eliza, please roll 1d4.
Mm-hmm. That's a 3.
Okay, go ahead and remove 3 sanity.
Oh my god.
I am tired of all of you thinking you're better than everyone else, thinking you're better than human beings, and I will not let you go around and causing havoc on innocent children.
Do you not understand?
Lies,
We were
lies,
brought here because we
lies.
were the best
You're just
chance of
lying.
helping those
Oh,
children.
Shut it! You are just a monster, just like the rest of everyone else. And I won't let you hurt anyone else again. This is not gonna go well for James.
I don't know.
Oh, God.
That's not good.
Oh, yeah.
I take this rod and I want to like try and hit Eliza with it, like try and knock her out.
Okay.
No boy.
But thankfully, Elisa is standing on the other side of him. He knocks out Eliza instead.
Eliza, will you roll against your psychology for me, please?
Psychology, sure.
Go ahead and roll. I'll give you a bonus roll for this, so take the better of the 2.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Psychology, great.
You don't have to be a super spy to recognize what's coming.
Damn. Even with a 26, are you sure it can't be like education or intelligence?
So that failed.
Yeah.
So you're
Not badly.
you've been in positions like this before with a cornered monster, but there's something you just feel so much empathy for James that maybe it just so you don't necessarily see this coming. So James, will you roll your fighting brawl and will you roll your dodge twice and take the worst of the 2?
Oh.
Good.
Oh, that's bad.
That's-
Joe, may I ask?
I had to take the worst of the 2, though.
We'd have
so.
no rerolls. And you can't push
can't
push
push.
combat,
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
skill checks.
That is a failure.
Okay.
I also failed.
Okay, great. Well, you both failed. James lunges forward with this rod, and as you sort of stagger backwards to dodge, you do feel it brush against your arm, and you feel just this sharp cold that makes your arm just almost go completely numb. You sort of stagger back, holding your arm as this man who was maybe a friend, at the very least a co-worker you started this adventure on, is just standing, shaking, breathing like a monster, glaring you down, ready to lunge again.
James, you've gone completely mad.
I've returned to my senses.
James, you said that you want to protect your son.
Yes. At all costs.
You-
Yes.
What would he think if he could see you right now? Can he see you?
He can.
He's standing next to her.
And he needs get away from her. You get away from him.
I back away to like humor him.
Okay.
Come here, Stephen. Come here.
I mean, you
Come
know
here, Steven.
harm.
Your son sort of moves quickly to you and
Come here.
just looks up at you and says, "Father, leave her to die."
Yes. I suppose they will bring their own end. And I reach down and grab his hand,
He takes it.
and I go down the other way, down the stairs.
You start to walk down the stairs.
I want to leave her up there. And I want to walk out the door.
So you head downstairs to leave. Okay.
With the with this in hand.
goals downstairs.
As you're sort of standing,
Yes.
you sort of take a moment to sort of take everything in. You're hearing, throughout the building these snarls and growls. You are not alone.
No.
You are not alone in this place. Your eyes sort of stray back to the renovated hall, where you've been several times before, and it sort of seems like that's the source of where this fog is coming from. And as you're sort of standing and taking a breath, you're realizing your skin is damp. You can sort of taste the taste of salt water against your mouth, and there's even almost a little bit of sting in your eyes, like you've just been swimming in the sea.
I want to go back to try to find Sarah, because I was trying to get her out before all the craziness happened.
So you are
I'm making my way back
heading
in.
down the hallway to make your back in? To make your way back in?
Yes.
Okay. We're going to cut to Matthias, who runs to this door, grabs the knob, opens it, and you step into just almost blinding sunlight.
Are we safe? How long are we in there?
Oh, you're not there, Peter.
He grabbed me though. I'm okay. I'm still inside.
This is... Shit. I'm having my moment.
Oh boy.
As you open your eyes, you are standing in front of a church, a small church, simple. It's very, very beautiful looking church. And as you stand and examine it for a moment, first you sort of notice the humidity. It's very warm. You recognize this church as colonial style architecture. You've seen it many times before in your visits to the States. And as you're sort of staring at it for another moment longer, just as the front door is starting to open, not only do you recognize this church, this is St. Michael's Church. You helped your son rent this church months ago in preparation for his wedding, which is today, which you have been very stressed out about all morning and are finally here.
The fuck?
As the door opens, a man walks out in a white collar, blonde hair, very friendly enough looking gentleman. Says, "Oh, Matthias, we've I mean, the guests are all there. I mean, they're having a good time and they're fine, but you know."
Yes.
Sort of. I keep doing this. Sort of holds up his pocket watch.
I dare say. Yes,
Peter wouldn't want this thing started without you. And neither would Maggie.
No, of course. The wedding, yes. Peter, and... Yes, of course. You said everyone's waiting. I dare say. I apologize. Were they waiting for me to officiate, I guess? Yeah?
Well, I'm officiating, but
Oh,
you are.
yes, good. Yes, no,
You
I'm
are
sorry.
your son's best man.
Of course. Of course. He is my best friend.
Oh my god.
He opens the door for you
Man.
to walk in.
Oh, I go inside.
Okay.
It's the
as you go
happiest
in,
day
you
of my
see-
life.
You see people you recognize, people you sort of recognize. You know how sort of crowded wedding goes.
Hello?
You
Yes,
see,
yeah.
you see Peter's mother,
Yes.
who's
Dr. Drew, it's good to see you.
smiles and waves. You two aren't together anymore, but it's been sort of amicably resolved as best these things can be, and obviously on a day like this, there aren't going to be any squabbles. You see
Unless she gets into the rum punch.
You see a shorter bald man approaches. He has sort of a long beard who just smiles and hands you A flask kind of looks around. This is, of course, Nicholas Robinson. He is the owner of the Kanawa Salt Company, who employs your son.
And how's he? Thank you for giving him the time off. I know he's a good lad. Very proud of him.
That boy has made the salt boom possible. I'm happy to do what I can. Happy to pay for the reception.
Oh yes.
It's not every day my daughter gets married, but I'm happy to call your son my son-in-law.
Oh my God.
Oh, we should be proud to have a son like him. Yes.
Oh, jeez.
What's going on? I'm sorry. I heard everyone was waiting for me. I didn't want to hold it up. This seemed so. Was it a dream or something?
A dream? Well, I mean, absolutely, a dream come true. Make an intelligence check.
Yes. Okay.
Intelligent.
Yeah. Oh, this
Oh, there it is.
apparition just messed with the wrong motherfucker. That is a success.
Okay,
Nice.
that's a success.
Oh, dang. Your intelligence is really high.
That's all I have good at.
Well, if you're not going to take a swig here,
No.
don't let the father see.
No. Yes. Yeah. No. Don't let the father. The father mustn't see. The father mustn't.
Did you
see.
start drinking without me? And he sort of takes another swig of the flask and kind of looks around.
Father doesn't see. No, I'm quite more myself. I think.
Well, I mean, if you're going to get all weird about today, can you at least make sure this thing's getting on time? Your son's back there somewhere. I don't know what the holdup is.
Yes. Let me talk to my son, Peter,
Your son, Peter,
Who's here?
is-
getting married.
who walks quietly into a just a small room. There are choir robes hung twice, and a mirror has been placed inside.
What'd you say?
There's a mirror that's sort of been, it looks a little out of place. It's been added, sort of a floor length. Floor length, that's the right term, right? Yeah. Why do they call it that? It's not the length of the floor.
Am I wearing clothes?
You check the mirror to... Well, you are. I mean, you would know that there are clothes on your body. Yeah, you're wearing a tuxedo.
Oh, jeez.
Something's not.
Very smart looking.
Is the curse lifted?
Definitely out of your price range.
Something's not right. What else do I see?
Something's not right, but yet in this moment, this is, this is right. This is something you've earned after that nasty business in London. Reconciling with your father.
London.
This is absolutely right. You see two doors. One that sort of leads back out into the chapel of the church, and one leads to where you have been chidingly told over and over again not to look because it's bad luck to see the bride on the day of the wedding. But you know that Maggie is your bride,
Maggie.
is changing and getting ready for the biggest
My
day of her
bride.
life inside.
May I roll? I have an urge.
Okay.
To look in this mirror and question all of this.
Okay.
But I also have an urge to check on my bride.
It's up to you.
I want to look in this mirror and see if anything seems off about myself and the reflection of this world.
As you look in the mirror, the thing that strikes you first is sort of this conflict within you about wearing clothes at all. Much less something this nice. You're in a building, but you feel at ease. These are areas where you've spent most of your life.
I have.
You've been in and out of Charleston for, a lot of years. You have people here. You have roots here.
I mean, I should feel
Roll against
comfort.
roll against your intelligence.
I should. But something feels like I'm trapped. These clothes, maybe. That is an extreme success.
Okay. As you are looking in the mirror, there's nothing at first, and you hear it before you see it. Just a drip. Drip. And behind you in the mirror, you see just drops of water splashing down to the ground behind you, hitting the wood floor.
I don't turn.
Just steadily.
I focus on it in the mirror.
Okay.
Something's not right. I should feel good. This is what I wanted, my father. A normal life. But I miss...
You hear a door knock. It is not knocking on either of the two doors that are sort of right next to you, but rather Chapel, Maggie. You hear someone sort of knocking on her room.
So I hear it out in the hall. Kind of... You said
Yeah.
knocking on her room.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you've been here before. You go to church here every Sunday. You know, this is sort of a general storage room that's been converted for the bride to sort of get ready. And then that leads out again to the hallway. So you know where that knock is coming from. To the other door of her room.
Who's out there?
It's your father,
Matthias.
Peter.
Could you come here, please? I need you
Good.
to check on something.
Yes. And I open the door.
As you open the door, I need you to make a check against your sanity. Fucker.
You can do it.
Are there any rerolls?
Oh.
There's one.
Use it. Ooh.
It was like a 94, and I got it down to a 2. I still take one though.
Damn.
You still take one,
Yeah.
and there's this moment
Ooh.
where you enter this
Damn.
room, and it is just wrecked. There's furniture overturned. There are supplies scattered everywhere. Communion bottles shattered. And that's when you see, just on the other side of these storage chests that have had sort of blankets thrown over them so that the bride would have had a nice, comfortable place to sit, an arm.
Ooh.
And no Peter.
No, Peter.
No, he's done it again. He did it again. He's done it again.
So I'm in the other room.
Mm-hmm.
If I hear him enter...
You would have heard
Yeah.
him enter. Yes.
Matthias, what are you doing? I need you to see this. Father,
And what are you doing?
something's not right.
Oh, jeez.
As you're staring at this more and more, now you're starting to see the blood spatter against the walls, the pool coming out across the floor.
Is Maggie in there with you?
And as you confirm that there are several pieces of Maggie in this room, you are going to share a memory that sparks a bout of madness.
Oh.
This isn't the first time that I found someone that I love. Someone that I would call my daughter. Destroyed, ripped apart, mangled, defiled in such a way. Both times,
Going there.
they've been at the hands of someone I once called son.
Matthias, what do you see? I need you to come here, Father. Something's in the mirror.
Roll 1d4. Or, yep,
1d6.
1d6, thank you.
It's 4. I walk out back to the chapel.
You walk away.
Father! Father, come here.
As you leave, you walk out, and you sort of start to shake as you're watching this, and you're almost disgusted with yourself that you let this happen again.
Father, where did you go?
You pull the door open and just slam it open so it's almost swinging loud enough that everyone sort of in the chapel waiting just sort of stops and just sees you storm down in between the pews, the center row of pews.
I never stop looking in the mirror.
Okay. Nicholas Robinson sort of watches you go and she's like, hell, man, what the hell's the matter with you? Are you arguing with her again? Nicholas Robinson beelines for the room, and as you are, I'm assuming, walking for the exit?
Yes. Because of this, yeah, to me,
As you're walking for the exit, you
Father,
hear
where did he
the
go?
screams of a man finding his daughter dead on the floor. Would you
Oh.
know that voice? That is the voice of
I
your
hear the scream.
business partner, manager, father-in-law, friend.
Oh, God.
No, this isn't right. I would like to punch the mirror.
Ooh.
Okay. You do that, the glass breaks against your hand, and as you sort of punch into this thing, you hear another scream. The door swings open, and you just see Robinson just staring at you, and at this point, more people have come into the room and have discovered it. Robinson just stares at
Stay
you.
back! Stay back.
Well, or what, you goddamn monster?
That. I'm a monster.
He hasn't changed one goddamn bit. He hasn't changed!
You knew?
And people are just starting to scream.
knew.
He hasn't changed. He hasn't changed. And people are just pulling clubs and bottles of glass and whatever they can find as people are starting to pour into this room. And as Peter is crowded into this room, you step out the front door into the chapel and just waist deep into ocean water.
Oh, God.
Peter, as these people are starting to just pour into this room, they're reaching for you, they're grabbing for you. Here,
And why would you let me near your daughter if you knew? If you knew! Why? Why?
As people are starting to pour in, you're sort of starting to, it's forcing you backwards.
Something's not right. Something's not right. No
You
one should ever
realize
let
you're
me
s-
close.
You realize that you're stumbling and you fall backwards and just splash like you've been pushed
Oh.
into a pool of water.
I let myself sink. Looking up.
And as that splash happens, there's a smaller splash as a waiter pours another glass of brandy for Eliza. Ma'am. He then looks across the table to Apollonia Wayworth, sort of waiting for his cue that it's okay to leave. Ma'am. He walks away. Between you, Charles Dodgson is sitting, looking around. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to take up your invitation, but I mean, the Nightingale is, definitely what everything everyone says it was, and more. This place is ridiculous.
What have they been saying about my establishment?
I mean, also, this is a place where palms are red and fortunes are told and lead is turned to gold. I mean, this is absolutely incredible, and
I'm
it's
very sorry.
amazing to see you again as well after all that nastiness.
Yes, well, Apollonia has been gracious enough to try and change my mind about some things, and she is a very gracious lady.
And after everything we've been through together, the least I can do is offer a drink.
Absolutely. I mean, the nightmare of that place. I still think about it in my dreams. I really, really do. He sort of takes a drink to sort of steady himself.
Well,
At any rate, all's well that ends well.
All's well that ends well.
and I'm looking around as well. The place looks fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It's, dark but not dim. Everything's very expensive. Everything's very well maintained. I mean, it's everything you would imagine when you think of 1850s gentleman's club run by a half vampire lady.
Yep.
Great.
Perfectly envision it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I can see it very well.
I'm just not good at painting words with
Hey, Miss Love.
Mom, the waiter sort of stops. Mom.
Bring 2 cups of my tea. You know which kind.
Absolutely, Mom.
And above game, it's type O.
He sort of okay. He says absolutely,
I got
Mom,
that.
and then he pauses and goes, "Yes, Mom," and sort of walks away.
Just so he doesn't bring back Earl Grey.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure it's like the potent stuff.
Oh, special tea.
It's an acquired taste.
Yes.
I will take your word for it.
Seem like a brandy man.
I am. I will stick. I will absolutely
It's good brandy.
stick with this. It is. No, it's excellent, really. He sort of takes another sip and is just looking around and sort of opens his watch and checks his pocket watch and is just like, I can't believe he's late. It's not like him. Again, I absolutely apologize.
Oh, I had no idea we were expecting another guest.
Oh, sorry. It may be too forward of me, but I invited a +1.
Do I know
Is that so?
this person?
I don't know that you would know him. Eliza, he's an old friend of yours. Alan. Alan's coming to have a drink with us.
Alan. How wonderful.
Yeah, I thought he lit up when I told him about this, and so I again I apologize. Very presumptuous of me, but
And may I ask? Pardon if I sound too forward, but what was your Dodson
yeah, yes, ma'am.
of the Kensington Dodsons?
Yes, ma'am.
And then I would assume that you would know better than to just spring an extra guest on a lady without asking her first.
Again, I apologize. I can
It's all right.
meet him out front. I am sorry. I am truly.
This guest is of particular interest to me, as Dodson says, he is an old friend. But would you be so kind as to go and greet him? I mean, he's not necessarily the most distinguished of gentlemen in terms of his experience, and I fear he might not be able to find the entrance to this fine establishment.
Understood. I'll be on the lookout. I'll be your eye in the dark. And sort of Charles stands, heads downstairs. Ladies. Walks downstairs, sort of towards the entrance to find Alan.
Eye in the dark.
Where have I
Eye in the
heard that
dark.
before?
Above game. Have I heard that?
Oh,
I know
yeah.
I know.
Oh,
I
yeah,
can't
that-
have heard that above game.
Yeah.
Has
Above game, that
Apollonia
is,
has Apollonia heard that?
Apollonia has seen it written
Yeah.
in a book.
in a book. She has heard
Yes.
it chanted at her
That's
while a
right.
big
Yeah.
gaunt thing stared in
Yes.
her face.
That's right.
I think you've heard that. Yes, you.
I
She would
heard
have.
it.
She read it out loud
She
from
read
the
it
book.
out loud.
Eye in the dark, eye in the dark. It's a rather peculiar saying, isn't it?
Yes.
And I don't have the book on me or anything.
No.
Or do I? Okay.
No, you
How
are in.
did-
You are in your best. You are.
All right. How did Lord Hayes come to know Mr. Dalton to begin with again?
I'm not sure. Mr. Dodson said he floated around amongst many different social clubs before ending up in Lord Hayes' particular company.
And yet he found it fit to just extend an open invitation to an exclusive gentleman's club.
As you're
He
talking,
knows about that.
Hamish returns with a glass for you, and
Thank you, love.
Mama didn't want to be too presumptuous, but I assumed.
I did say two.
So he's hands you one as well.
It's venison.
So as you both take a sip, Charles sort of happily sprints up the steps and is like, I owe you a second apology.
A second guest.
Yeah, this not on me necessarily. We met. I was on my way to the club, and we met. And he was insistent upon coming in. He wasn't even on the list. They just let him in. And a second figure walks up the steps, and I'm going to ask you to share a memory that sparks a bout of madness as your father, Charles Wayworth, follows Mr. Dodson up the steps.
Papa? Papa. The last time I saw you. In what state is he as he's walking up?
He's fine. He's
How old is he?
he's
White hair?
the
ginger
best
hair?
memory of someone who's lost a parent has of their father.
Dashing as ever. Papa, you didn't find her.
I didn't, little bird. I'm very, very sorry.
The
Your
last
father sits, finds himself a chair, and sits down. I'm going to ask you to roll 1d4.
3.
Okay. Remove 3 from your sanity.
Yeah.
And in this moment, your father sits next to you. This is... You
The
suddenly
last-
feel very exposed. Like you would... This is your home. This is your heart. This is your soul. And suddenly you feel out in the open, exposed.
Why did she come back?
To see what my daughter's done with my legacy.
But your next journey was to find her.
Dodgen sort of sits down next to you and awkwardly reaches across and gets his brandy glass.
My last words to you.
This is uncomfortable.
Papa,
How?
My dear.
my last words to you were, if she's there, I hope she sings to you. And you left this world with a smile.
And she did sing to me.
So why are you back so nonchalant without her?
Go ahead and roll against your intelligence.
Two.
Wow. Okay.
Dang.
I couldn't bring her back. I failed you, my love. And I am truly sorry for that. Truly. You see a sight that no child really likes to see. You see your father start to break down He starts to cry. Forgive me.
I reach forward.
And as you start to reach forward, his tears start to hit the table.
Oh.
Drip. Drip. As that smell of seawater washes across the room. He reaches out to take your hand.
But if you can't, I will. For you.
His head cocks to one side.
Huh?
You're welcome to try. And as that drip starts to kick in more and more, you start to realize how unnerving this sensation, sound, and smell of water has started to become. Because you have a new phobia. And I'm going to ask you to roll against your sanity.
Oh my god. Y'all, I'm real sure we're
What
gonna
is
get out of this
this?
in a minute.
Totally.
I mean, I walked out the front door.
I
If
also,
anything,
I
I'm
think I walked
The fuck
out.
you did.
No, I
But-
do. It's not good. It's not good.
Okay. Oh. Go ahead and roll 1d6.
This is the right one, yes? 3.
That's not bad.
Okay, go ahead and remove 3. You just removed 3 earlier, right?
Mhm.
Which brings us to a total of 6. A sudden panic washes over you, just even more so. It's almost as if your brain is justifying that feeling of isolation that you felt, and all you want right now is to get away from this table. You know, you still have your instincts to be sort of polite and sort of in control, but you realize you are standing at the table, your hand sort of at it. With Start, the cup spills, spilling tea across the table.
Hamish, be love.
Mom.
Grab Alistair, clean this up.
Yes, ma'am. Hamish walks away like nothing has gone on, and you find yourself hurrying away from the table, leaving.
Lady Wayworth.
I don't hear her. I just keep on walking.
I am in quite a bit of trouble, aren't I? For that.
Apparently so. It seems as though she hasn't seen her father for quite some time.
Wayworth sort of just
Her father?
runs his finger across the table where the blood spilled and is just looking at the blood on his finger.
She said that she'd lived for quite some time, then. But her father was human.
Oh, that's not her father. This isn't complicated.
No,
Charles takes another sip from his brandy.
clearly not.
No, he's dead. He's been dead for a long time.
I can relate. And what about you, Mr. Dodson? Do you often run in the company of specters?
I'll ask that question if you answer this question. He swirls the brandy glass. Why is a raven like a writing desk?
You're talking nonsense.
I'm talking in the only language I understand anymore. Nonsense is all about what angle, what shapes, what equations you look at it from. What's the solve for X? Nonsense or an answer?
No
Why is a raven like a writing desk, Eliza?
It's Elisa.
Elisa, sorry. My lack of giving a shit has given me away.
Why is a raven like a writing desk?
Time. Running out of time. We're late.
Except it would
Late,
seem that you
Elisa.
seem to have some sort of gift that allows you to ignore the passage of time, as evidenced by the fact that you were somehow able to bring back some apparition of Lady Wayworth's father.
This is disappointing. I expect more from the Starr vampire hunter of Europe, whether they admit it or not, pride of her family.
My family would pretend that I didn't exist. They would prefer that I didn't.
No, as would I, but it's better off for what's to come that you are dead and not a bother. So let me ask you again, why is a raven like a writing desk?
Don't know.
No, you don't. You don't know anything. I've tried to tell her before she doesn't know anything, and she just blah, 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 blah. I'm very proper and in control. You don't know anything. You don't know what you are. You don't know why you are. But something's going to change all of that. And you're going to find illumination.
I am not going to subscribe to whatever fanaticism your little club has gotten itself into. It's so typically human, searching for an easy way out.
There's nothing typically human about what's about to happen to you. Beware the Jabberwock, my love. The claws that bite. The jaws that bite, the claws that catch. Well, sort of downs his drink and stands up. I think we know by now Alan's not coming, and that was full of shit. So I'm just going to leave you here to finish your blood, or whatever it is that you drink.
I never did have much of a taste for animals. In this reality that I'm currently in, is it nighttime?
That's a good question.
Roll your intelligence.
Okay. There's just a stack of D6 here.
Is my not dad still there?
Oh, I rolled.
Oh,
Never
I
mind.
was like-
I was like, wait a sec. Do
You are sort of
we have any rerolls?
standing. We have no.
God damn it.
Thought we did.
I failed by 2!
You're standing sort of a distance away, and you're walking, and it's almost like he's been put on pause.
Okay.
You failed?
By 2.
Okay. It is night.
As far as I can tell, it's night.
Yes.
Fantastic. Then I am going to grab Mr. Dodson, like, by his head.
Okay.
Because I believe it is nighttime, and I'm going to sink my teeth into his neck.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your normal daytime power.
Oh, yeah. Power. That's what's up.
Daytime power.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I just can't freaking roll anything tonight.
Okay. Fail?
Yeah.
Okay. So you grab him and sort of pull him back. Not with quite the force that you intended, but it's enough for him to sort of be startled. He drops his brandy glass and just kind of starts to laugh. What? You want to bite me?
As I said, I never had much of a taste for animals.
Oh, well then, by all means. And he sort of offers his neck up. Well, are you all bark?
I'm going to grab his wrist.
Okay.
And I'm going to take my mother's dagger that I have, and I'm going to slice his wrist open.
Okay. As you slice his wrist, it's just almost an immediate torrent of just liquid sprays into your face. And it's not warm, it's almost stinging as you realize that what's pouring out of his arm is seawater. Just pure salt pouring into your eyes.
Yo, we all high as fuck.
As,
This is the shit.
as James
Oh god.
Oh, no.
I'm leaving.
steps into... steps outside.
Day, sir.
I said good day.
Steps outside to the street. You find a carriage there waiting for you.
Oh my god.
The white hair.
I'm sure this is normal.
Totally normal.
Get in that carriage, bro.
Mr. Regal is standing. Your son is sitting next to Mr. Regal.
The most insane
The-
person actually made it out of the building.
I know. That's the only one.
The door opens, and you are almost relieved that your old friend Roger, in full military dress, steps out of the carriage.
Oh, Roger. It's so good to see you.
It's good to see you too, my friend. Are you ready to go see your son?
You haven't aged a day.
Time's been kind to me. It's been kind to you too. Just as strong as I remember you.
Yes.
Dragging me out of that pit.
Yes.
I owe you then and I owe you now.
You paid it off quite enough.
Are you ready to see them?
See who?
You know who.
My son?
Your son, your wife. Are you ready to see your family, man?
No. Oh no.
Yes.
He gestures to the carriage door.
Is there anything
Get in the carriage.
okay.
Just go see your son.
I mean, I'm just gonna, I just walk in. I go into the carriage.
Okay. You step into the carriage. You step up the 3 steps, and you almost step immediately out down the 3 steps that you just stepped into, except you step out into a crisp autumn day. There's a road sort of in front of you, and a sign that just says Paul.
Paul?
The maiden name of your wife.
Oh.
As you
Oh no.
find yourself in just a lovely, crisp autumn day in Shropshire. Country. Your wife's family's farm.
You made it. Oh, I'm sure. I walk into the. I look around. I look for anyone I may know.
You're alone. There's no carriage.
Where did the carriage go?
Roger's gone. You wonder for a moment, and then the thought sort of leaves you. Stephen's not there. Because you know where he is.
He's waiting for me. I'm coming. I'm coming, my boy.
Okay.
I'm coming, Stephen. I need to go. I need to go surprise him. They're waiting for me to return.
As you approach the farm, you see a woman with raven black hair sort of standing on the porch of this house. There are fields behind them, sheep. Sort of walking around doing sheep things. And you see this woman, she's hanging laundry. You recognize her. It's your wife. There's a streak of gray, of almost shock white, down her hair. She doesn't see you.
My love, it's me. I'm back.
This woman,
I made it.
Bella, your wife, stops and looks up. And looks at you.
Bella. Bella, dear, it's me. I haven't seen you in so long.
James.
Yeah. What's wrong?
James, you cannot be here.
What do you mean? I have the
James,
right
you
to see
cannot
you.
be here.
I missed
James,
you. I haven't seen you in so long.
in the name of God, James, turn back around. You cannot be here.
Why? Why? What's happened? What's
James,
happened?
stay.
since
Don't take another step towards me, James.
Please, we can talk about this.
James, no, we cannot. The time for talk was long over. You cannot be back here.
What's wrong? Where's this animosity coming from?
Door swings open and a man steps out. Looks to be in his late 20s, early 30s. Good-looking guy. He was buttoning up his shirt. Takes a look at Bella, who is in a full panic. Oh, what's the screaming all about? What's this then? He's holding a rifle in his hand.
Bella, who's this?
You fucking came back.
Of course I came back. I told you I would. I told my family I would return.
The rifle's up, pointing at you.
Oh,
I've been waiting for this a long time. You fucking came back. The fucking ball's on you. Get the fuck back.
Do I recognize
Colin.
this person?
No.
Okay.
I have every right to be here.
Get the fuck you
What
do.
did I do
The
to you?
Fuck
What
you
did I do to you?
And as this man steps forward down the steps, beyond him through the open door, you see Stephen, your son, standing.
Stephen! Stephen, my boy, quickly, come to your father, quickly!
Oh, believe me, I fucking will. And the man sort of opens fire, takes a warning shot.
Huh!
The ground next to you just explodes as the ball hits the ground.
What? Put down your weapons, sir!
In just a moment, I'll fucking put it down.
Bella, please. What are you?
That's your son.
Bella has backed away into the house, back towards your son, Stephen. And she's saying, Stephen, inside! Stay inside! You hear your son from inside the house. Father!
I'm coming, my boy!
Father, they're taking me again!
I don't know who you are, sir, but I would like to see my son now!
Would you now? And he sort of turns the rifle around and is holding it and just sort of points the butt at you. Would you now?
I take it.
Go ahead and roll your fighting brawl.
Oh god.
What's happening? Oh, that's success. Damn.
Must be a nice
That's a
feeling.
success.
Yeah, for once.
Okay. You grab the butt of this rifle from this guy just so quickly it takes him by surprise and he stumbles forward and he just kind of slams right into you. The two of you sort of stumble backwards. What is your dexterity?
50.
15?
50.
5-0. I was like, you are the least of the dexts. Okay.
I'm the least of the decks.
Okay.
I only have
Joe,
20.
what's going on right now? Joe, this is fucking with my brain, dude.
Okay. So you guys stumble into each other, and I need you to go ahead and roll your dodge.
Any rerolls?
No.
That's real bad. That's like a 96.
Okay. This guy, you grab the rifle, he lets go, he stumbles into you, and he just kind of goes in low by your hips and just tackles you, slamming you into the ground. Your head hits the dirt. You hit hard soil. You know, it's not really enough to do any damage. But your head smashes into this melon and just orange sort of sprays. And as a very familiar and sort of key smell to your past hits, I need you to check your sanity.
It's pumpkin season. It is autumn.
No, dude, you
We're
just
in the
fucked up.
country.
You have to roll sanity against Pumpkin.
I can't believe this. Is this really happening? Oh my god. Can I push this?
No.
Oh my god.
What was that? What was that? Was that?
Oh.
That's 2 rerolls.
I'm using it.
You're
I'm
using a
one. I'm
reroll?
using a reroll.
He's just preemptively using both.
I'm using it.
I'm gonna need him.
Double rerolls. Thank you for the rerolls.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, that's a 1.
Oh my god.
What?
That's a critical
That's a one.
Yeah.
success.
What?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
No joke. That's a
Dang,
fucking
dude.
Yeah, that's a 1.
You
Oh my
find
God.
yourself, there's just
Oh my god.
pumpkin smashed across your face, and you just wipe this orange away. Your hand is shaking, and you look up at this guy sort of righted himself and is standing. But you take a breath and you focus enough, and you see he's going for the rifle. It's within distance. He's going for it.
Am I within distance to reach it? Am I like closer? Am I closer for it? Or
Yeah,
or is
you
he
can get. Depends on if you want to go for him. You want to go for the rifle. This is your turn.
I want to go for the rifle, but if he's closer, if he is closer, I want to like pull him back.
Okay, go ahead and roll your fighting brawl.
Oh, yeah, that's a success.
Oh wow. Okay.
Dang,
I'm
dude.
using these two.
You found the dice.
Yeah.
Is that why you were shopping around here?
I was feeling their
Their energy.
Their energy. Yeah.
Okay. So you sort of lash out with your foot to sort of trip this guy up. He sees it coming, and stumbles out of sidestep to sort of get away from you. It does open the distance between him and the rifle. You're now between him and the gun. You stay away. You stay away from this fucking house.
This is my family, and I will do anything to protect it from monsters like you.
His eyes are just wide, and he draws a knife from his pants.
I go for the rifle.
Okay, you're going for the rifle?
Yeah.
Okay. Roll your speed for me. He still hasn't figured it out.
Nope.
That's bad. That's 92. Use a reroll.
You have one.
there's still one.
Okay. Using my reroll. Speed? Is that speed, right?
Yes.
Uh,
Thank you for the rerolls.
where's speed? Does that be my dex?
Yeah, sorry, your dexterity.
Oh, okay, then that
apologize.
is. Oh, that's a failure by 1.
Oh.
51.
Okay, you were diving for this rifle, and as you sort of hit the ground close to it and start to reach, you feel just this pain shoot up your leg as a knife stabs into your back of your thigh. Roll 1d4 worth of damage for me.
That's 4. I'm almost dead.
And
No!
I'm at 3 health.
okay. And in that moment, you feel the stab. You feel the blood pouring. One more monster keeping you between you and your family. I had one extra to dole out where I wanted it to. Share a memory that sparks a bout of madness.
Oh.
You monster. I was a player, the GM. I remember getting wounded when I was in the police force. We were in pursuit of a man who was holding his child ransom. He wanted to hurt the child, and I calmed him down. But when I calmed him down, he just lashed at me and he stabbed my right arm.
Roll 1d4.
I got too much insanity. That's a 1.
Okay.
That's good.
Take
Good roll.
one.
Good roll.
Away from your sanity
24.
as you sort of do your best to scramble away. What will you do?
Did I grab the rifle? I didn't.
You're next to it now.
I want to pick it up
The
and
man's
run.
standing
I want
back
to
up.
run towards the house.
He spits, almost in defiance, as you grab this rifle and doing your best to sort of hobble and run towards the house.
I'm coming, Stephen. I'm coming. Please, hide.
The fuck you are, man! And as this man runs, colliding into you, Apollonia, Lisa, the two of you, open your eyes and come to in the hallway of the renovated wing. You had been walking that way, you had been walking out. The two of you find each other.
I have Sarah. in my,
You have
holding
Sarah
hand.
with you. In that moment, the two of you find yourself awake at the top of the stairs.
Oh.
Father. Maggie.
Peter, as this moment of happiness was ripped from you so quickly, I want you to share a moment of that year of courtship with Maggie, that year of happy memories as a simple salt man in Charleston that sparks a bout of madness.
Wait. Okay.
Oh my god.
It wasn't real. I remember it like it was. We were going to start a family. The curse was lifted. She accepted me for who I was. What I had done. Now I'm alone. Again.
As
Hello?
you sort of look to your father, who's waking up, sitting up beside you, and you feel the thick coating of salt water sort of pressed into your skin, and your hair now is just matted against your skin as if you've been in a shower recently. Roll 1d4.
It's just a 4.
Remove 4 from your sanity, and
Oh no.
roll 1d10.
Oh shit.
Well, actually, hang on. Sorry, I forgot a step. We put some checks and balances into this. Let
We
me.
did.
Can I add something to the stack?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
You don't feel anger. You feel this crushing sadness, which honestly you haven't felt something this real and this raw and this sad in a long time, and it's almost just as crippling. But you sort of are alone for a moment with this moment, with this memory that's just been ripped from you, this reality, what could have been, that's just ripped from you.
You were there. Do you remember?
You do.
I can't do it well. I smack him in the face.
Slap your son in the face, okay?
What did you see? You called out. I called out for you. You didn't come.
No.
What did you see?
I relived the darkest day of my life. And though none of it made sense,
What did you see?
it reminded me of a time when you took everything from me.
Roll against your sanity.
Me?
Bert.
Oh, okay.
Matthias, I'm sorry. He took us there, not me.
Dude, this thing's fucking with my brain. That's gonna be a no for me, dog.
Okay.
Just a D4, D6.
1d4.
You. What do you mean you? I didn't take anything from you. You left. We left.
Would you lose? Sorry.
I lost one, sorry.
Oh, okay, you're fine.
But I've lost a total of 5, if that matters.
Yeah, it does. Thank you. Thanks for being honest. Okay. You're you have this wave of just disgust with your son, but it doesn't really make you lose focus. You know, it's not like a blind rage.
Sure.
It's just this feeling of...
Stop playing games with me. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
What? Just fucking tell me.
Do you know why you left? Do you know why your mother took you away?
You. It was you.
And before we find out whether it was or not, we're going to return to the hallway with the two of you.
Lady Wayward.
Why did you leave
shaking.
her alone?
I didn't mean to. Something came over me. I tried to get her out of here.
You can almost... It doesn't make sense to your eyes, but it's like you're looking through a window almost at the sea, if that makes any sense. This whatever it is so thick
Okay.
in the air around you. Like you're looking at the ocean through a mirror. Hair wet against your skin.
I never had this question answered. Are we still in England?
You look around, you're in a hallway that you know, in the Grand Lodge of the Freemasons.
Okay, so we are still in London. We're not in Calais by the sea. We're not in...
No, you know
There's
where you
no
are.
logical reason for there to be seamless coming in. It's all
yeah.
freaky deaky. Okay.
You know where you
All
are.
right.
It would appear we are, though the order of things doesn't seem to be quite right.
Nothing seems to be quite right.
We have to get out of here. We no longer have the advantage of darkness.
In that moment, you hear a little girl's scream from the mirror room. Back down the hall from where you came.
Is it Alice's scream?
Mm-hmm. This child is racked in pain. She's suffering.
She's not natural.
Well, neither are we. And I walk in the direction of where.
Why
the
would you go in the
screaming was
direction of one of
happened.
them?
Okay.
They're so small and grabby.
Are you following?
No, I'm not.
Okay. You're standing in the
'Cause
hallway.
I don't like chillins.
There's that moment where Lisa... I'm turning around on myself now.
Mhm.
It's Lisa.
Mhm.
Yeah, sorry.
You got it.
I've second-guessed
Nailed
myself
it.
like 8 times. Lisa steps in.
Can you call
The
her
two-
Eliza?
Stop.
The two of you hear the scream of the girl. It almost stops Matthias mid... It does stop Matthias mid-sentence. You're about to get that reveal, and you hear the girl scream.
I'll deal with you later. Wait.
We're back here. Masons, what's...
I hear a scream.
Yes.
It sounds like a child.
Yes.
Wait, Bartholomew. And I'm running to the stairs.
As you run... You guys are already at the top of the stairs.
Oh,
so
I'm
you're-
running to the sound.
So as you start to run, your foot hits something and it clangs across the room a little bit.
that was just, I don't know.
Oh, okay. Just sound effects, just Foley. And as you look, you see
It was dice!
you see the black
Somebody was
rod
gambling.
that several members of the party have been handling sort of rolls across the floor.
would
Next
like
to
to pick it
the what you recognize as the mangled body of a redhead girl that you
Yes.
is familiar somehow.
An acquaintance.
I pick it up.
Okay.
And it's like covered with like her gore, right?
It is fairly clean looking.
Oh.
I mean, it seems like upon further inspection, it seems like there's blood on it, but like in a very Spinal Tap way, like it's so black.
What is it, Matthias?
This was you found in when I first found you, right?
It's covered in blood.
No, it's not. It's perfectly black. It's like an eerie black. I don't see.
What happened to this woman? Where did the ghouls go? Where are the police?
Something isn't right.
No shit.
Yeah. Well, excuse me.
It's the most obvious of observations.
Then tell me, Junior, what's going on? That's what I thought. I heard a child screaming. I need to make sure that it's not my son. It's not your brother.
Yes. Shall we? To the
Yes.
scream then.
Okay. You're there first. You step into the room. This sort of saltwater fog is dense now, so much so the same luminescence that some things get under the sea has started to affect the room, and you start to see the shapes and equations written across the ceiling and on the walls are almost have like a glowing quality. They've almost taken on their own eerie glow. And you see in the middle of the room the girl Alice, who I think you just know as Sarah.
I only know her as Sarah.
You see the little girl Sarah screaming as the fog slows to a stop. And like a spider shedding its skin, a hand and an arm push out of her mouth.
Oh!
Please roll against your sanity.
Ugh, that's
That's cool, dude.
terrifying.
That's
That's dope.
And please give me the worst of 2 rolls.
great.
Oh!
But they were both terrible, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. Please roll 1d10.
Oh!
Do we have any rerolls? That's
Wait,
a
wait,
12.
wait.
That's a 12.
Yeah.
Getting carried away.
Oh!
Do we
It's
have
0.
any
She got
rerolls?
0. She rolled a 0. That means it's 0. We're good here, everybody. Let's move on.
We don't have any rerolls.
Okay, well, cool. Cool.
We're all good to act.
You
We're fucked.
realize, you and the 2 of you
Huh.
heading to the hall realize
That first you was...
that a
Wait.
Lady.
Apollonia.
Oh, I'm
sorry.
not going to that room.
Well, as these 2
Yeah.
are heading to the hall and you stand in the hall, you recognize a second scream coming from the room as one of your companions. As collapse on the ground and fall to your knees as, and again, visually the physics of this do not make sense, but this mass of limbs and flesh and soaked rags just pull itself out
I kick in the door.
of this girl. You kick in the door as this head
Oh, my.
slowly looks up at you, and please roll against your sanity.
Yeah, I figured as much.
Oh, dude. You got me at soaked rags. Meanwhile. It's like, oh. He's talking about Flash.
I succeed my sanity check,
Okay.
but seeing as this is a threat, I'd like to also roll a d10. If I can
Okay.
do that.
You're still going to lose 3 sanity points
Oh, cool.
because you successfully passed this check.
Don't look at it.
What?
You just saw a thing that doesn't make sense.
No, it
You're-
doesn't.
You're not gonna get out of it unscarred.
Yeah, I understand that.
Well,
Roll.
I didn't know, so I'm also coming in the room.
Now I have to roll a d10 because I've lost 8 sanity points this game.
Well, hang on. You back away quicker than you've ever backed
Oh
away
my
from something in a long
God.
time. It has been a
What are you-
long time since you felt physically afraid, and you almost grab your father. Whatever has gone on between the two of you, purely out of biology, your blood is behind you, and you step in front of it protectively as you grab your father. And in the start, your son sort of lunges at you, and then for a moment, there's that, oh God, my son's lunging.
No!
And that's when you see...
I'm afraid of him.
That's when you see it. Pulling itself to its feet, towering over the group. The taste of salt, fresh in your mouth, stinging your eyes, and please roll against your sanity.
This one and this one. My sanity's slowly taking
I know.
a dump here, guys.
Yep. You did it.
What if I hit it right exactly?
That's it. It's a pass. Yeah,
Pass.
that's good.
How many do I lose?
3.
Okay. I've lost a lot.
I know. And as this
I think this whole side of the
figure
table has.
steps in front of you, a pair of arms reaches between the three of you, reaches directly past the three of you, and almost pushes you aside as the gaunt man crawls, still headless, crawls past the three of you. Reaches a hand up to this figure, grasps onto the rags, and pulls itself up as the figure's mouth opens and the gaunt man crawls into its mouth.
What? Fuck, dude. That's fucking gross. Oh my god.
You hear, and as you are just trying to wrap your mind around
I'd like to roll to shit myself.
what, as you're just trying to,
Oh my god.
you're just standing and you're staring at this, when you hear a voice. "'Tis the eye in the dark, the unmoving stare, and where its glance strays, the Grey King is there."
The eye in the dark.
The unmoving stare, that's what I said. Catch up.
That's what he said. He said he would be...
Oh, magnificence in front of you, and you're still so slow.
What does it want? Ask it what it wants.
What do you want?
You asking the thing, or you asking the voice?
I'm asking the voice.
You look over, and on one of these covered tables, Charles Dodson is sitting, cross-legged.
Fucking knew it, by the way.
I know, fucking
Yep.
Dodson,
I
dude.
came into this
Yep.
session being like, he's a... fuck that
Yep.
guy. Fuck him so hard. But nobody ever should, actually.
The Grey King
Because he's trash.
is here, so there's no more need for the eye.
The eye. The stranger, the slender man. Was that the eye?
And where his glance strays, the Grey King is there.
I should have known.
I think you did. When she'd sort of pulled away from me. Doesn't matter now, it's all over. My king is here, his majesty is here, and everything is about to change.
Your king.
That would be a good time.
My god.
To what end?
To what end? Illumination! It's what this is all about.
How terrified am I at this moment?
Any liquid in your body is probably
Expelled.
It's fine.
been
fine.
evacuated, but I think you're able to focus on something that makes sense, which is a human person in
Yes.
human person clothes.
Yes. I'm slowly taking my eyes away from this thing, and I look at Mr. Dodson. Illumination, yes. Books. It would like to learn.
It would like to. You have nothing to teach it, little man. It has everything to teach us. The truth that it has for you. There aren't words, believe me. I've spent a long time trying to wrap my head around them, my brain, and now my brain is gone. It's gone to tea.
I'm not there.
The
I'm
snarl
not-
Oh, yeah,
is
you're-
real, the
you're-
bandersnatch is real. Beware the jabberwock, the claws that bite, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch.
You really are going insane.
Oh, I've been there. A sane man doesn't feed blood to a little blonde girl and then cut off your son's finger.
What did you say?
The vorpal blade went snicker snack.
What did you say?
He took the vorpal sword in hand.
I'm just gonna run at him
Long
and
the
club him
foe
with
he
this,
sought.
this fucking thing.
Okay.
Yes.
Also, I
As-
have the knife that he did that too, so I'm also gonna
Oh, that's poetic.
I'm gonna stab him with the knife and the club, and kick him in the balls.
Okay.
I'm activating my multi-attack.
I want you.
Multi-attack.
I want you to roll your dexterity.
Okay, that's not very good.
I love they tried to bribe him with knowledge. Look, we have.
I'm a professor. It makes sense.
It made total sense to me. What?
I succeeded so good.
Okay. So, you are surprisingly quick. You just sort of break out of whatever it is that's been happening, and with the speed, he doesn't actually get up. He was not expecting a man who's been limping the entire time
Sure,
he's
sure.
known him to sort of bolt this quickly. Before you know it, you have your hands sort of wrapped around this man's throat. As he just sort of smiles and laughs, you realize he's not even looking at you. He's just looking up at this figure,
So I see like a shadow.
which takes its gaze towards you quizzically.
I don't care. I do not care. If I have this man by the throat, I'm just gonna strangle him
And
the
as-
fuck out.
You begin to feel the rags and the skin, the flesh sort of starting to drop around you, the dampness sort of pressing in. The feeling of having your head,
No,
your
no, no,
face
no, no,
under
no,
the
no, no.
water. You roll your constitution.
Oh, fuck. I'm an old man. But I still got some kicking me.
He succeeded by
Okay.
two, baby. Got it.
Okay. There is this moment where you start to cough and you start to see water just like you had just washed up on the shore, but you're finding your breath. As you're continuing to choke this guy, the creature's just sort of standing over you, and its gaze settles on the two of you as it steps forward, leaving its loyal subject behind to be choked,
Oh.
and takes one single step forward. Looking at you, looking at the room, exploring this new place.
Peter, now would be a very, very good time.
I can't. I don't know why I can't. It's just like before. I'm afraid.
And as Peter stands there frozen, Charles is just
Ugh.
1, 2, 1, 2, and through. The vorpal blade went snicker-snack. He left it dead, and with its head he went clumping back. 1, 2, 1, 2.
You said his blade? Snickle snark? Is that what you said? And I pull out the blade that he cut off my finger, or my son's finger.
Okay.
And I get up. And I run to stab the thing.
Oh.
No, wait. With the short sword you got from...
No, I have the blade with that. Well, unless I don't have this anymore, then I'm totally boned.
The rod.
There's the rod, and then there's the knife that he cut off my son's finger with.
Got it. Yes.
I'm assuming I saw that, unless the police took that.
No, you have that.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm gonna. Can I use my intelligence, my book knowledge, as I'm running towards this thing?
Sure, man.
What thing to stab it with?
Yeah.
What are you trying to figure out?
Fuck this dude, but like he cares about this thing more, so I'm going to stab his master with one of these things.
Okay.
And one of them is not like the other, I hope. I'm gonna use intelligence on this, so.
Definitely intelligent.
I also know the occult, but I don't think that matters anymore. Latin? Is it Latin that I can solve it with? Perhaps that's.
I've got occult knowledge in Latin as well. That's really coming handy.
This was. Did you roll your intelligence?
Oh, I didn't know if that's what I could do.
Woo,
I
baby!
So what? So before. Okay, this succeeded. But before what are you trying to?
So he's saying
Intel.
he's speaking gibberish. The man
Yes.
he's clearly
He's
lost
nuts.
his brain.
Yes.
But he said something, and I feel like he has told me something he should not have. Because in every sort of cultural story that they have about a monster, they weave into it some way to stop it. At least that's what I've read in the books.
Okay.
And I know that after tonight that everything I know about everything is completely wrong. But he said something about stabbing it, snickle snocka, that's all I heard. And so
Snickers.
I have two things in my. I have this thing that just keeps coming back to us, and I'm going to, I guess, make the educated guess between the knife that he cut off my son, and I'm like, that guy was kind of a dick. I'm assuming that's not this thing. I have this rod that I'm going to shove. I don't know if this creature has some sort of anus, but that's where I'm going to put it.
Might not be the most effective place to kill
Might
something.
not, but
Roll your speed one more time.
You just make it very uncomfortable.
Speed? Okay.
Said James.
dexterity.
From outside. Why?
Where's my speed?
I think
Listen to
I
me.
think we decided it was just dexterity.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Damn, he's on a roll.
I got a 9.
Whew,
Wow.
dang.
Again, I don't know if this is gonna work, but I'm.
You're gonna go for it.
Okay.
This is for Bartholomew.
So where are you stabbing?
I'm just stabbing it. Again, I don't know
Okay.
where exactly.
So you
I'm making an its
take
back
this
is turned
rod
to
as
me.
these, as it sort of walks through. Again, what almost feels like you're underwater. You feel some bit of resistance. You can still breathe okay. You passed that check. As you push through these tattered rags and ribbons of flesh and push the rod through.
Welcome to Earth.
You dig. You never, at no point do you feel like it
no.
embeds
Sure.
into anything. But the creature is present suddenly. You are no longer just a scholarly curiosity as the top half of the Grey King twists independently of the bottom half
Oh, dang.
and just screams. Piercing. Possibly enough to snap you out of whatever it is that's going on, but I'll leave that up to you.
I'll let the dice leave it up.
Okay.
Okay.
All
All right.
What is your
So,
dexterity?
50.
50. Okay. Apollonia, what's your dexterity?
45.
45. Okay.
At nighttime, it's really good. But
I
daytime,
know.
it's only
What's your dexterity again?
Oh, my dexterity is very low.
Okay.
It's 20.
What? That's a bad move, dude. You're a werewolf.
It is. That was rough. Yeah. And
I've
and
got
what
a
is
lot
what
of
is your
strength.
dexterity?
37.
37. I like that you're more Dexter than your son.
Hey,
More Dexter.
I'm a tank.
So,
Okay.
it's your turn.
Okay.
What would you like to do as this thing screams?
This thing is screaming, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So, we're still in the room with the mirror, correct?
Yes.
I can still. So, what I would like to do is. God. So there's just nothing in this room but this big mirror, correct?
And the giant thing.
Right,
And
right,
you guys-
right. I'm just saying there's no other resources.
I'm here as well.
Correct.
Okay. God, what am I gonna do?
You have a sword.
Yeah, I do have a sword still, and I still have decent sword abilities, just not as strong. Yeah, so I'm going to go to where he's sort of like wrapped in the half of it, right?
Yes.
So my objective is to get in there and separate the top half from the bottom half with the scimitar that I still have.
Okay. Go ahead and roll your
Okay.
fighting brawl.
Well, it's swords.
Okay. Go ahead and roll them swords.
Are you fucking kidding me? I can't. I'm sorry, I'm getting very frustrated.
Do we have any rerolls though?
Would you like
We-
another
really?
die?
Do not
I would.
have any rerolls.
Can I push this and instead of
Can only push skill checks.
Oh, okay.
You sort of step in and you take a swing at this thing, and the rags almost pull back as if they've seen you coming. Peter?
I succeeded my transform roll,
Okay.
so I just let the anger and the fear and seeing my father, the last family I have.
Peter, as you transform, what do you do? The creature's attention is fully on you. It sees this threat appearing in the room.
I lunge for it, and I'm going to try to remove its head from its body.
Okay. Roll your speed.
You mean my dexterity
Yes, your dexterity. I'm
instead
sorry.
of my strength?
You know what? Yeah, actually, there's not a whole lot of ground to cover. Go ahead and roll your strength for me.
Oh, good.
I think he forgot what my strength.
No, I remember. I just also know what this is.
It also doesn't matter because it's a fucking elder god.
I mean, successes matter, right? I mean, everything's an extreme success when my
Ooh.
so that's a 16. I got a 16 out of 155. That counts.
That absolutely
right?
counts as you leap into this thing. It's almost like it had already sort of started to adjust to the speed of your comrades, the strength and fierceness of your comrades, and had not sort of prepared for this as your claws sort of start to slash into it. What are you doing as you sort of make
I
contact?
want to just lunge into it and start trying to rip its head from its ragged, decrepit body.
Water
Okay.
body.
I want to separate the head from the body.
Okay. You claw, like, you gouge into what your common sense tells you is this thing's throat, and its head just falls backwards as water starts to sort of pull, like, sort of overflow across the top, just bubbling almost like a geyser, as what almost seem like you've seen pictures before, you've never seen one in person, but almost what seems like octopus arms sort of start to pull up the top of it. And in that instance, Apollonia,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
But now I'm getting the fuck out of there.
Okay,
Because in that room there are children and they multiply very quickly.
okay,
That's what happened last time.
okay. You're leaving.
Yeah.
Good call.
Multiply like rabbit?
And as
Yep. That's
Apollonia
exactly what happened
walks
last time.
away, we return to Matthias, who in this moment realizes that his grip is free as
Yeah.
Peter dives into this creature.
Would I have sensed that what I did actually did anything, or
It definitely did not seem happy.
okay? If he's going for the head, I'm going to go for its legs, and I'm going to try and just go for an ankle, or maybe it's some sort of creature of, as I've heard, where their hearts are in their buttocks. and I go for some creatures, store them there.
Really determined.
So what are you
stab this
trying
thing in
to-
the butt.
Okay, you're still going for.
Before
Okay.
it was, if he thought that last one was uncomfortable, this one is going to.
When in
There's
doubt, go for the.
You have a moment of clarity. Despite all of this, as you see what you know to be a monster and your son sort of diving to save you, and this woman who's been fighting alongside you, sort of
My
trying to
son.
get this thing off of you.
He is my son.
Go ahead and roll your fighting brawl
Sure.
with a bonus and give me the better of 2 rolls.
Boy. Matthews is on a roll tonight.
That's pretty good.
Not for.
No.
Just leave the fighting to me, old man.
Yeah, well,
Or
Oh.
just keep ridiculously
He's
rolling
getting
tonight.
insane
my son-
rolls.
You're right. You said that my son is there, and even though he's in this state and I can't look at him, I just yell, "Stay away from my son!" And I go up and I'm aiming for some
Yeah, sure.
fleshy part of his body. Whether that's,
Last time you were sort of pushing what just felt like just cloth, and there was just so much give as you were waiting, and this time you strike true and you strike solid as you hear this creature screaming again a second time as these arms, these tentacle-like arms burst out toward you from where you stabbed.
like wrapping me?
They're reaching out. The creature is screaming louder and louder as this spray of just this like bubbling black liquid starts to pull out. As you start to hear another sound, and the girl Alice screaming,
Sir. Alice. Yes.
Dodgson behind you screaming something as well, as this creature figures out what it did with every pair of dice that it has. There they are. Okay. As this creature sort of twists back into place, and then just like an owl's head sort of twists back around, and it obscures your vision, but whatever made this beast want to step out from where it had lived and take a look around it has decided that this is not quite something that it felt like dealing with. And you don't see what happens, but you see this creature sort of recompacting.
Oh no.
As its legs sort of almost stretch back out and break, as it sort of pushes its way back in, as the salt stings your eyes. The moment passes, and the scream turns into a sob as this small blonde girl lies on the floor, curled up, shaking and sobbing. The wolf that had jumped at the creature had been hanging on the entire time, scratching and clawing and ripping cloth and rags and flesh away from it, and ends up over the girl. Smells it. Growls. And I'll leave this in your hands, Zach.
I'm going to leave it in the dice's hands. I don't see this girl as a threat,
Okay.
and I'm just hovering over it, snarling at it, waiting to see how it reacts.
Okay. There's a moment It's just this girl crying. And a few moments pass. You realize you're alone in the room with this girl.
Son of a bitch! And I'm running out the door to see if my boy Sir chokes his neck. He's gone. He's not there. He's never there.
Where have you been? You've just been sort of walking
Away.
away.
That's my
generally.
direction. Away.
You see, some time's gone by, you heard roars, you heard a lot, and now suddenly you've heard silence. Until you hear the ragged breath and panicked running of a man behind you.
I turn to see who it is.
It's Dodson. Eyes bloodshot. You can see the redness around his neck. You can almost see the outline of fingers. His hair's a mess. His clothes are ripped.
I reach out and I grab him by the throat.
Okay. Roll your speed for me.
Speed? Where is that?
Dexterity.
Dexterity.
Sorry, dexterity. I keep doing that.
Which one's to roll?
Same thing.
Yeah, speed is
these
just
two?
Yeah.
how far you can move.
Yeah. Well, this is not good.
Okay, you have 2
Right?
rerolls.
I do?
Yes, you do.
Then I will take a reroll.
Okay.
That's good.
It's good.
That's a seeds.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll pass.
You snatch him by the throat. He wasn't really sort of paying attention, and even though it's daytime, you don't have a lot of power. You're not necessarily ridiculously weak during the day, and you reach out and grab with enough momentum that it sort of carries you for a moment, but you have him, and you have him pinned against a wall. What do you do?
Is he coherent?
Find out.
Actually.
1, 2. 1, 2.
Oh no.
You'll never know. None of you will ever know.
Mr. Dodson,
Lady Wayworth. Your father sends his regards.
look at me.
It won't work. Those games won't work. They didn't work the last time, and they won't work now.
I didn't try to do it on the map. I've never tried to do it on you.
You tried on my friend, but I got to him first.
Who?
Not you, the other one.
And tell me. I pull him closer to me. I love stories. And I love secrets. Go on. Tell me a secret.
Little birds are sleeping, all among the pins. Little birds are choking. Baronets seeking winds. Little birds are hiding. Crimes in carpet bags, blessed by happy stacks. Blessed I say, though beaten, since my friend is eaten when the memory flags.
And whose secret is that? Yours? His? A new friend?
He just continues to laugh, not answering any further lines of questions.
Bored. Then I remove my hand from his throat and I take a bite.
Okay. Going to cut back to the room where the 3 of you are standing. This small girl. What do you do?
I'm going to help the little girl.
Okay.
I start saying a little phrase that I have. I dwell in fields of green, led by his hand. I may drink my fill from streams where few have been. Though I may walk through death's shadowed vale, his presence calms every fear.
And as you're reading that over and over again to your son, I'm going to cut to about a week or 2 later. The 3 of you sitting in a small room with a police officer with a rather impressive mustache, Corporal Gilbert. You would recognize him. Some time has passed. Bodies were found throughout the house. Your son was found outside alive. Bodies clawed apart. People locked in sort of violent embraces, apparently having gone through the same thing that you did in the house.
I know, I might have done some of that.
You might have very well have done some of that. And Gilbert just shakes his head again at the story about chemicals that you've told him. And it's just like, these...
Yes, you see, when it's a very natural occurring phenomenon where the gas just keeps coming out of the ground. Mass hallucinations. It's happened before. Some people think that before Pompeii exploded, everyone was going crazy and killing themselves. It's I really, I don't know how much more. I'm a professor. What I'm saying is true.
By God. Well, that's a bit above my pay grade. My God, indeed. I don't think I'll forget anything of what I saw in there until my dying day. But some of the children were alive and rescued, and I understand we have you to thank for that.
Yes, and you should listen to the professor. Be it what it may, whatever it is you thought you saw, as he says, it wasn't real.
It explains everything but one thing.
Which is?
James Cullen. How does a gas transport a man from London to Shropshire in one night?
Well, this is news to me.
Holy shit!
I'm sorry. One more time.
He was dragged to the local station by his own son. He shot his wife.
What?
James.
Screaming about protecting his boy.
Oh, baby James.
Protecting his boy. And you're quite certain that he was brought in out in the country? He wasn't...
Yeah. By his boy, Stephen.
Where is he now?
I think the locals have him now. Poor man, it's a tragic story.
How far is that from here? I'm not from around here, I'm sorry.
I'm a few days' ride. It's on the coast. Or near the coast. The war never quite sat well with that man. His wife took his son and left. Went back to her parents' farm.
Poor James.
Yes. Poor James indeed.
Guess not all of us made it out of this. So, perhaps
Though
it'd be best to visit him and see that he's all
I'm
right.
going to go to him.
Yes. Is there any more details of anything else? Was he saying anything, or?
All I know is they picked him up.
Well, we've taken up quite enough of your time.
You have my thanks again.
Yes, of course. And I guess I wouldn't know at this point if it's been weeks, but
It's been like 2 or 3.
and Lord Hayworth's estate.
Ah, Hayes. Passed away in his sleep.
I'm sure he did.
I understand that his
Yes, of
funeral
course.
arrangements were picked up by Lord Barr, generous man in the community.
Of course.
Lady Wayworth.
The Nightingale. I'm assuming back in her nest. She certainly hasn't talked to me my entire life. I don't see why she'd start now.
Right. Of course. And all the children have been accounted for.
Some. The ones we found.
There's more left.
The one.
The one we found. Alice.
I assume I'd know her real name by now.
I would have
Yes.
said it, yeah. I wasn't very sly when I was...
Trying to find the name.
Still at the orphanage, from my understanding.
Hmm.
Still in need of a home. We haven't found parents.
Is that so?
I see.
That's so.
Perhaps I shall go. To
Well,
the orphanage.
not to put it bluntly, but all of you scare the shit out of me. And I'd like to put this matter behind me.
Would you? Our children still remain missing.
You're right, I apologize. We will keep our search up.
I'm sure you will. As will we.
Of course. It's what Lord Hayes would have wanted.
Absolutely.
I don't give a fuck what that man wanted.
Language, son.
Well, if that's all, I wish you luck on your search.
You as well.
You're welcome to jump in as you'd like. The three of you step outside and there's a knock on his door. One of his officers walks in, just sort of points out the door and it's just like, is that the Birdman, sir? It's just like, Cameron, it's not a bird. We saw it. It's a wolf. Cameron, not a bird. He's like, that's just disappointing. And he sort of holds up this crate and he's like, here's most of what we found at the Dell house. It's all mostly just nonsense rhyming words. Burn it? Publish it? And he sort of shrugs. And the corporal sort of laughs. He's like, well, after releasing a gas attack, I don't think anyone's going to buy anything that Charles Dodson's ever written. Think of a pen name or something and do with it what you will. And the three of you find yourselves outside of the station.
That's right.
You're welcome to join if you want, if you wish.
In what manner? That's it.
Up to you.
I could see you.
All right. Wait, what time of day is this?
This is day.
All right,
Yeah,
okay.
this is you'd
Then
have a veil.
My
and-
riding hat's on, my veil is
Mhm.
down.
Lady. Wayworth, is that you?
you sort of
Is that
see
you?
her.
We're all.
Yes.
It's except for James. We're all
You're all
here.
alive.
Somehow.
1, 2.
No
Okay,
thanks to you.
I walk up to them. Hardly my fault that I didn't want to run into death.
Yes,
I got what I needed.
Well, there is the matter of James,
Yes,
but also of the girl.
indeed.
Who's to say that that thing won't try to make its way into our reality through her again?
You can't possibly be suggesting what I think you're saying.
What? That what we saw was absolutely real?
Or that you want to kill this poor girl because this thing is inside.
Of course not.
Oh, that's what I was going to do.
What?
If that's actually what's happening and this monster resides in that girl, then it's for the better.
In that case, it could be any of the kids that we saved.
I only meant to suggest that.
You're saying that about Bartholomew?
No.
I only meant to suggest that she might be safer in our particular care.
Absolutely not with me. Tiny human, small hands.
You're a
They
woman.
multiply.
Well, you're a woman of means.
I walk away, and I hail a cab.
Carriage. And as Peter walks away to hail a carriage, and the two of you sort of start to argue over the future of this young girl, Alice, and Matthias sort of stands helplessly in the middle.
You do have a very old family, do you?
Wait,
I
are
do.
you going after James?
Perhaps it would be best.
I'm going to find James to
Yes.
rub it in his face that he's the real monster.
I thought we were going to try and find him some sort of psychological.
No, definitely not.
And that is where we will end this chapter of He Left It Dead. Thank you guys so much. We ran a little late, so let me run through these names, you guys, and then we will we'll get on with it.
Creepy as shit.
Game of Joe B. Haven't been able to pay attention fully, so I have no idea what the fuck is happening.
You don't have to
Okay.
read them, just go with the names.
Got it.
Okay.
Game of Joe B. Thank you so much.
Thank
Little
you.
Mouse that Jumps. Thank you. J Pistol. Thank you. Arid Zinc. Thank you so much. Hyper RPG. Thank you so much
I'm just gonna.
for doing that to James.
Wow.
Shadow Piper, thank you so much for being here, man. Analar, thank you so much for those sanity checks to bank. Blvd, thank you. J Pistol, Davero31, and finally Cthulhu. Thank you guys so much for joining in. This has
Finally.
been such a pleasure for me.
Yeah.
Zach, thanks for letting me do it, man.
Of course.
I appreciate it. Thank you guys. Awesome to be at the table with you guys again.
Did we form some sort of like paranormal squad?
No, I left.
An extraordinary league.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for Magic the Gathering.
We'll be right back in about 20 minutes. We'll see you soon.
Bye.